So I finally got one. I have finally got my hands on one of the new Tonex pedals, and today I'm going to give you my first impressions of it. What's up everyone? Welcome back to Sunday Tone. If you're new here, please consider subscribing to the channel. I'm going to be doing more videos about Tonex just like this one, and you're going to want to stick around for that. I want to start out today by talking about who do I think this pedal is right for and why did I decide to buy it. So I think the Tonex pedal is right for someone who likes options and someone that likes to tweak knobs, someone that might be using one amp one week, a different amp another week, or maybe you want to be able to switch amps between songs or sets. I think this is really right for that person. I think if you want something super simple, you might want to stick to pedals like the Iridium, the Ruby, the Dream, the ACS1, things like that where you're kind of given constraints. Like I've been a Iridium user for the past few years, and with the Iridium, I honestly have loved that, you know, you have Vox amp, you have a Fender amp, and you have a Marshall amp, and that's it. And you just have the cabs that it comes with, and you have the cabs that you can load in. All the settings are right there on the knobs. There's not much tweaking you can do, and right out of the box, you get an amazing sound. And I've really enjoyed that. But more recently, I have thought about, man, I really want to be able to try out different amps, try out this, be able to tweak. Sometimes I haven't been satisfied, at least with the Fender side of the Iridium, not being able to tweak the EQ enough and just kind of always feeling like it's a little too dark for me. So I think the benefit of the Tonex is, for one, you have all of the amps that it comes with, hundreds of different amps, and then you have the ToneNet community that you can download tons of models from and try out pretty much any amp that you can think of. Obviously, there's the whole capture side of it. You need some extra gear to do it, but if you have really great amps that you want to put into this pedal, you can capture them yourself and do it that way. I also think the Tonex pedal is great for someone who wants to integrate their amp solution with the rest of their pedal board. So using it with your overdrive pedals, using it with your wet effects, your delay, your reverb. I think this will integrate really well on a pedal board, just like an Iridium would, just like an ACS1 would, or an HX Stomp. I think it's perfect for that. It's a little bigger than some things like the Ruby or the Dream and the Iridium, but it gives you a lot more options and it's still very pedal board friendly. And before I tell you my thoughts on how this sounded, I think it's important to remember that, you know, this is going to sound different to different people's ears. It's going to, you know, some people are going to love it. Some people are going to hate it. I've already seen comments from people that are like, oh, I ordered it and sent it back the next day. It was horrible. And then I've seen people say, like, this is the best sounding models I've ever heard. So there's a spectrum. And I think you can really only say if it's going to work for you by testing it out, playing it with your pedal board, with your guitars, with your setup, and seeing if you like it or not. So how does the pedal sound? I got it in the mail, I opened it up, plugged it in, started playing with it, and my first impression, honestly, is that it sounds really good. It sounds different than the Iridium, but it sounds really good. I played through a bunch of the different models that the pedal came with, and I honestly was like, okay, this sounds good, but I wasn't floored with it. So I was kind of in my head thinking, like, am I going to keep this? Am I going to, you know, sell this and keep using the Iridium? What am I going to do? So I went ahead and got on ToneNet and downloaded a bunch of tone models of different amps that I'm interested in. I checked out ones that had, you know, the most downloads, that seemed more popular, and some of those sounded bad. Some of them sounded really amazing, and I'm actually really happy with the sound of some of them. And I'm going to share those with you in this video, show you some of the sounds I got with them. And if you have the pedal, you can try them out as well, see what you think. But ultimately, I think with the Tonex pedal, there's some captures that will sound really good to you, and then there's other ones that won't sound as good. So I think with the Tonex pedal, you really have to find captures that you really like. There's going to be some that you don't like. There's going to be some that you love. So it takes a little bit of time of playing around, but I think it's been fun to check out different amps and find out, what I like and what I don't like. I think some of the initial built-in amps in the Tonex sound a little dark to me. I'm somebody, I like single coils and I like really kind of brighter guitar tone. So some of them sounded a little dark to me. But again, what I really love about this pedal is the tweakability of it. You have different cabs that you can just flip through really quick, and that will dramatically change the sound. You have the presence control, you have the depth control. There's a lot that you can tweak with it to really get the sound that you're looking for. So the 3 tone models that I want to share with you that I've really been enjoying, I've played a lot of them actually, but these are 3 that I want to share today as kind of my top 3 so far. The first is the Tone Junkies 65 Deluxe Reverb. Really enjoyed this one for a Fender sound. The next one is the Matchless Laurel Canyon tone model. I've really enjoyed that one as well. And then for more of a classic Vox sound, I've really enjoyed the 64 Vox AC30 Advanced. And so all 3 of these I will link below, links to them on ToneNet if you have Tonex and you want to be able to download and try these out for yourself as well. But let's go ahead and jump in, and here are some demos of each of those tone models. question is, which one am I keeping? The Tonex pedal or the Iridium? And I talked about this a little bit earlier, but I think in the end, I'm gonna end up selling the Iridium. So if you're interested, reach out and let me know, which is kind of hard because I really love the Iridium. But ultimately, I think the flexibility and all of the different options that you get with the Tonex is something that I really love and I think I want to move forward with. So one part of my decision in wanting to keep the Tonex pedal is the way it sounds running overdrive into it. And the 1981 DRV is a pedal I've really loved, but for whatever reason, it hasn't sounded great into the Iridium. It seems like it cuts out too much low end, too much high end, and it just gets too thin. But this pedal sounds really awesome into any amp that I've played it into. So I plugged it into the couple of tone models that I shared with you earlier, and it sounds amazing. And I think it has something to do with what I was talking about earlier, where things feel a little bit compressed and too thin with the Iridium. But with Tonex, I don't get that. I think most of the overdrives I've tried so far have sounded great. So ultimately, I think if you want to stick with something really simple, something that's like what you see is what you get, go with something like the Iridium or the Dream or the ACS1. I think those are really simple. If you don't want to have to worry about it, you don't want to be tweaking things around, stick with something like that. But if you want something that has more control, more options, that you can sort of infinitely have different amps, different captures, I think the Tonex right now seems like one of the best, bang for your buck with that. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and leave a comment below with your thoughts about Tonex, whether you've tried it out, whether you like it, you don't like it. Let me know what your thoughts are. And please consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. Again, like I said, I'm going to be doing more videos just like this one. And I will see you all in the next one.